All right, welcome everyone. This is our third meeting for TCL 54. Welcome in. Today on the agenda, we're going to go through the demos. We're going to go through the retrospective, which is going to be our first retrospective and should be very fun. And in the end, we'll go over new issues for the week. So which pair would you like to kick us off with a demo? I believe Matt will be leading it, right?
I think it's me this week.
Oh, okay, DJ. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, so really active week this week. Again, great job for both teams. But yeah, is there a team that would like to go first? We have Alex and Sarah, or Ashel and Randall. Any preferences?
Either way is good. Anybody?
All right, well, let's go in numerical order. Let's start with issue 3. So I think that was Alex and Sarah. So why don't y'all take it away?
It looks like I'm not able to share my screen.
Just a second, I'll make you a presenter.
I could describe everything to you, but I feel like it would be
Sarah has a new monitor.
Hey.
Nice to not just be working off my laptop screen.
Congrats. Okay, Sarah, try it now.
Okay.
You're on mute, by the way.
Awesome. And you all can see the homepage?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Alex, do you want to start or?
Yeah. Should we do it with the code side by side, or
Yeah, we can
is
do
that okay?
Definitely.
Thank you.
Let me just do, hopefully this will still, there. Can still see it?
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, our criteria was to create a new list that would replace the placeholder that we had in app.js, of which we changed to null, because if you're a new user entering the page, you should have no list there. And so with that being null, it allowed us to pass in the information from, I believe, app still. Could you scroll down on app, Sarah, just a little bit? Yeah, so in line 51, or sorry, is it line 51 or, oh, sorry, line 50, whew. We passed in the setlist token, use state variable so that we're able to manipulate that from the home component. And so when you create a new list and hit that button, thank you, Sarah, for going to the home component as well.
Sorry,
It's okay. Yeah, we've been going to the application of our of our DOM reader so that we can see the local storage that's there, which will show us the newly generated token that we're creating. Oh, is it not giving you application on your end?
I'm not sure where it went and why I can't get it.
Maybe try the 3 dots. I'm not sure if that. I've never ran into it where it doesn't give us the option. And it's not, huh. We could also check, well, maybe has the mentors run into this issue before where your part of your tools don't show up? Oh, maybe there.
I am
never had it happen to me.
This is new.
If I mean, If you really
I
need
have
to
a-
show it, you might be able to use the console to like read out the local storage, but
Yeah. I have a quick question. Sarah, are you on a anonymous browser?
No.
No. Oh.
And it was just up, and I had closed it for a second, but it's
Mhm.
gone now.
I can screen share as well if worst
Would you mind?
case.
I'll try and bring it back up.
Or do you want to try a new browser if you happen to have
Yeah, maybe
Chrome, or I'm not sure if you're on Chrome or Safari.
Can you see the new one?
Yes.
I'm so sorry about this, everyone. Well,
You're okay.
It's all good. It's a live, it's a live demo course. Always something happens.
okay, I'm gonna fully close Chrome. We're gonna start again.
That's okay.
Okay.
If that doesn't work out, we can try another browser, or we can make Alexandria a host, whatever works for you. And that's totally fine. You probably just, change the settings somewhere, but it's okay.
What's this thing doing? Ugh.
I'm gonna see if it's loading on my end too.
All right. Looks like no.
It's okay. That's all good. I'll change Alexandria as a host.
Do you want to
Yeah.
try it just in console? Like if that's, you can just do local storage and it'll show you the objects that are there. I mean, that's
Oh,
really-
sure.
That could work too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Even
Local.
easier.
yeah, just straight in the console, just type in local storage. It'll show you the objects that are there. So
there's no token. There's no token, so we're on the home page.
Do you want to continue screen sharing, Sarah?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
You're good. No, I was also short-circuiting earlier. Sarah knows this. Not that you're short-circuiting, but I know it's the day.
It might be that between me and Chrome. Not sure who's when. Okay, we're back.
Yes, we are.
So I was
sorry, go ahead.
click on create a new list, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then that redirects you automatically to the list page. And as you can see, Slade Pithy Bushy is our generated token. Here we are using a Collab lab dependency. Could we scroll to the top, please? Generate token. And with that, we are using that command. Yes, it is a weird collection of words. Actually, all of them are, but and generate token is used in the create new token function online. That starts at line 30. And I guess before I dive into that, if you'd like to, I guess actually I can dive into it now, sorry. Yeah, so create new token is an async function that assigns the newly generated token to the variable new token on line 31. And then going forward, we are getting the create new list function, which is an import from the Firebase JavaScript page that Sarah will talk about later. And create new list token will run. And during that time, it has the then promise where set list token is being changed through app component. And it is also navigating to list. We did add a catch here to give us an error if one shows up and we're using is it React hot toast, Sarah, at the top to show that error. And when Sarah dives into Firebase, we can show you what that error might look like if we were to test that edge case for us. So yeah, that's what's kind of happening on the front end, and I'll pass it on to Sarah to talk about the extra criteria and the stretch case for it saving to Firebase and Firestore.
Yes. So I'm going back up to line 17 up here. And so this is what happens when you navigate to home. And so when you click on home, the use effect will take place. And so that's called right away to check to see if the local storage has a value for TCL shopping list token. So because there is a value, I will click on home and you'll see it stays on the list page and it won't redirect you home. And that is because the check storage function, if it does find that stored token in local storage, will keep you navigated to list. But if we delete the token, we can then go back to home. And then, so the other piece, so there is local storage, and then there is also saving to Firebase, which we really sweated over this week, but we figured it out. Let's see, so that is the create new list, which again, Alex said is called when you click on the button to create the new token. And so in Firebase, let me just move this zoom bar. We added this right at the bottom. And so it's an asynchronous function. And so when you click create a new list, when you have that new list token, it adds a collection to the database named what that list token is. And then there are no items that are added. And so that's how we went about adding it to Firebase. Let's see, I want to say that's everything. And you can look in Firebase when you're playing around with this, and every time you click on a new shopping list, your fun little 3-word token will be added. And I'm going to go clean those up after we meet today so that it's easier to see what's happening. Any questions? Or Alex, anything I missed?
I realized that to show the edge case where the error appears, we would need to be able to manipulate with application for the local storage, but you should be able to do it on your local computers as well.
It's a cute little error, so highly recommend.
I don't remember if DevTools has like an offline mode, like if you can force it to behave as if it doesn't have a network connection, like without disconnecting, you know, from Zoom and stuff. But it might, I don't know.
I don't know. I was testing it, like if I think one of you mentors recommended like if Wi-Fi turned off or something, and I tried it, but it wasn't the right way to test that on my end at least.
Got it.
But if I threw a force throw error on the
inside
the Firebase document, or if I just like created the key to be empty, then the error would appear.
Got it. Cool.
All right.
Thank you,
awesome
Sarah.
job, you too. Really great. Cool. Were there any other questions though? Michelle, Randall, anything you wanted to ask?
I appreciate the explanation of the tokens and all that. I was very curious about that, so I'm glad I got to see how it works. So thank you.
Cool. All right. So with issue number 4, adding an item to a list, we have Randall and Michelle. So go for it.
Okay, I'll be sharing my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Right? Okay. All right. So we're going to be demoing it first, and then we'll talk about the code afterwards.
Yeah.
So our issue was users being able to add a list item to their shopping list, and also getting a notification that it has been added. So if we go to our shopping list right here, say we type in a name like, I don't know, pancakes, and then say we want to buy it kind of soon, add item, and we got a notification here saying pancake was added to your list, and it should be, can you guys see the database? Okay, it should be added here with the next estimated purchase date, and as well as the date created. And it also works when you say press the enter key. So go ahead and press add, and it's been added right here. One thing we weren't able to, so as you can see, we just had like the alert thing. We weren't able to incorporate that feedback about the hot toast for React notification. But we do want to implement that at a later date.
Yeah, I was hoping.
Yeah, we just weren't able to because our brains were kind of fried by the end of the week. But yeah, so that's the front end. And Randall, did you want to talk about the add item.jsx or the
Sure.
form? Or is there anything else you want to say about the UI?
I was just gonna say, I mean, just little things we were running into, like beginner stuff, like realizing that everything could be checked at one point, so we'd have to look up little things like how do we make sure that's in sync. Other things was also, it didn't tell the user, and I'm not sure it does yet, if you enter a blank, that something was not submitted to the database, right? So I think that little correction, which I believe you all recommended, hot toast would be good for that, to catch that. And also reconsidering what else we might use instead of an alert box to kind of keep it more uniform. I think Volha mentioned that across different browsers. So little things like that that we want to improve. But yeah, I think also realizing little things like on click was not as good as on submit. That let us use, I think, the enter key as or the button as opposed to just clicking. So little things like that that we had to research and find out about. Again, lots of help from the mentors, so thanks for all the tips on all that. And a huge thanks to Shell, because she was doing a lot of heavy lifting yesterday. Every time I turned around, I was trying to get home, and every time I turned around, she'd done like 10 more things. So thank you for doing that. And there's still more to do, which I'd like to do today. The add doc, yeah, do you want to, let's see. That was just working with Firebase, right? And I think we ran into some issues in figuring out how to input the values into the Firebase database. And I think we originally were linking both an item name as well as the date purchased in an object. And we were running into errors. And I think the mentors mentioned we might want to have two separate states, one for each. And that seemed to work better. Then we started to get back the information that we were entering.
Yeah, I think what we were doing was when we had that object set in state, we were changing just an individual property in our handler functions. Therefore, the other property becomes undefined. So Firebase doesn't accept it.
Right. So we had to find a way for Firebase to be okay with that. Let's see. That's on submit. I think also in the office hours, you were mentioning to us about the try and catch statement, right? About confirming whether the item was added to the list for having an error. That was something that I think we added in there as well. So we've got a turn or catch there. And then I think a couple other notes we had. I mean, we had a lot of notes, but I think we have some things about in what ways we would enter the information into the form, right? We had some suggestions to work with, and I think we might still have for one or two things. I think we originally had everything checked on all the radios, and we just needed the one, the default checked.
Yeah, I think default checked was pretty effective in that. We already just had checked on every input. And apparently default check worked when you refresh the page. Soon is automatically selected.
What else am I missing, Michelle? I feel like there was a lot.
Yeah, this is like a big form and there was a lot of things. So we are setting, let's see, we're setting the days until next purchase, and we are setting the name and state. Once the user submits in form, we have the handler on form submit. And then we are sending the state inside
Right.
item data object, which will be sent
Right,
to
right.
our database. And we just have, like Randall said, the try catch block to catch any errors. Otherwise, it'll notify our users that it was successful. So speaking of the item data, in our API, the Firebase API, we have our async function add item, and it is we've imported that. It was there set up for us already, and it's a Firestore function, I believe. Or no, it's add doc is a Firestore function. So we had to import add doc, and it takes in the collection, which is a reference to our collection, and it takes in the 2 arguments, which is our database as well as the list ID that we want to add to. And that's being stored in the variable list collection ref. And that is also the parameters or the arguments we will be using for the add doc function here. And then this is the actual data that we want to send over to the database. And as you can see here in date next purchase, we are calling the get future date function, and we're passing in the argument days until next purchase, which was what we destructured originally from our item data object. And that also works the same way with our item name right here. And so that's all going to be sent to the database. And I think that's how our backend works for the features. I don't know if you want to add anything more, Randall?
No, I think you got it. I'm looking. I think just originally we were not quite sure whether it's add doc or set doc. I think early in the week we were doing some reading on the documentation.
I do have a question about that maybe later after we're presenting this, because we were a little bit confused about add doc or set doc. But add doc seems to work,
On one hand, it drove me crazy. On the second hand, I appreciate that the mentors, you're not just giving us the answers and we're like, look at the documentation. We did, but we don't know. But I think I appreciate us kind of like learning and really trying to figure this out, because this felt impossible starting off. So thanks for your support, and thanks to Shell for getting a lot of that done. Good stuff.
Yeah, we received a lot of valuable feedback, and much of which we went back and implemented them. But even though we did complete our acceptance criteria, there were definitely some things that we could do more to polish the functionality. But yeah, overall, I think we did pretty well.
Great job.
All right. Yes, excellent job on the presentations. So I think if that's okay with everyone, we can go to our retrospective next. Let me share my screen with you and explain a little how it works. All right, perfect. Can everyone see it? All right, wonderful. So you should have an access to this board. It is a part of our project as well. And we will have about 10 minutes when everyone get to go through the columns and write their comments and suggestions and their ideas. So you will click on add items and you will start typing about how you feel the work is going so far. And it is not anonymous. After the board is completed, we'll go over and discuss it, and we'll also write some action items for next week going forward. It's a really good tool to be reflective on how things are going, what would you like to see improving, if you need any help or any other direction for the things. So essentially it's just a reflection on everything that happened so far and aspirations for our future work. So I will probably pause the recording for next 10 minutes, and I will resume it once, once it's done, so we can go over it. So how about we get back maybe at 11:39? If you want, you can also stop sharing your camera if that's will be better for you. So I'll just pause the recording for now.
Are we discussing just our own, or are we supposed to comment on other people's, or
we are going to be just discussing our own. So
Okay,
like you
perfect.
write a tile and then,
Okay.
you'll say what you mean by it if you want.
Feel more comfortable with that. Thanks.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So the first thing that we're gonna address are kudos, and let's start in order.
Was I supposed to write something in there too?
Say it again.
Did I miss something? Was it just that, or was I supposed to write something in here too? I wasn't.
Oh no, you can write
Okay.
whatever you want. So
No, it's no, it's a description provided. I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be more detailed
no,
or something like that.
that's
I
perfectly
don't know,
fine.
just that huge thanks to all that. I've never pair programmed or worked with pull and merge requests or any of this stuff. So I appreciate both of you for helping me with that. So big thanks for that.
This is me. I just really love the energy on this team. I feel like everyone's jumping in quickly. There's really great support that's happening. And so, yeah, I feel like early on, like this is kind of like where we're kind of finding our groove. And I think we're really doing well at that. So definitely keep it up.
This one's mine. I worked with Ashel our first week, and I just really appreciated, Ashel, your patience with me when I was not mentally my best self and barely functioning. And I also just really enjoy your presence in this group, and that the way you talk and the way you think and the way you do coding when we were working together was really great. And I just felt like I learned a lot from you. Yeah, really enjoyed that.
This is me. Yeah, shout out to y'all also who are helping us out as collabbies. Because I don't know, it's just like everything's just been really detailed, and I really appreciate the effort that you all put in.
I also want to shout out Matt and Volha. I've learned a lot through their PR reviews as well. Like, I'm on this learning process and this journey with y'all. So also, yeah, just the attention to detail and how things are planned and all of that. It's been really great so far. So thank you.
This is also mine. Alex, I thought working together was so fun this week, and I feel like we laughed a lot, and it was just like an enjoyable experience. And also trying to figure out Firebase when we were on Google Meet for a few hours and just going back and forth. Let's try this, no this, no this, and it just was like, it was challenging, but it made it really fun.
This one is from me. I just want to say kudos to the team. I really admire your collaboration skills, your growth mindset, your ability to learn and improve, and it's just wonderful. I'm very happy to be a part of it.
Oh, okay. This one's mine. So this is for the entire team. Thanks for being a safe environment to fail. Coming from a boot camp, it sometimes was very stressful during that time because you're, essentially being graded or at least there was just a lot of you did this wrong, did this, and I think this is like the most friendly environment so far that I've had to work with other programmers and mentors, and that also goes for recent collabs that I've worked with, like Sarah and Randall. They were just so friendly, and it's just also just like a warm environment, and just thank you for being open, and yeah.
Yeah. So this is me shouting at Randall from last week. I also had a great time working with you. And yeah, like I just remember like your attention to detail and your communication skills was very amazing and awesome. And we were both like learning the ropes together for the first time with this new program. So it was really nice working with you. Oh, and then I wrote one for Sarah too. Who also I had a lot of fun with working this week. Like you had said, like we laughed a lot, and I just really also appreciated the way that you helped me see different like outlets to like our problem solving, and like you made me think a lot of times like, oh, I didn't even think about that, and like the way you went about it was very skillful, but like easy to digest and understand. So your communication is amazing. And I loved your problem solving skills and how flexible you were with like timing and like problem solving in general.
I said this one's mine. Yeah, as I said on here, I've really enjoyed some of the social media posts that I've seen from some of you. And there's a lot to be said for sort of talking about what you're learning while you're in public and as you're going. And I think it's been great.
This is mine. I just like how Wilhelm, Matt, and DJ are all just very nice people, and this work can feel like I feel dumb so often, and it's nice to know that it's like not actually being dumb, and that you all are supportive and don't make us feel like we are not getting it.
All right, what a wonderful feedback. We are kind of taking a little bit longer, so if we can, let's please try going through the other few items a little bit faster, just so we leave enough time for the issues. Does it sound good to everyone?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, awesome. So let's go over what went well.
Everything I said there, so I'll give you a second to read it, but nothing I need to add to that, just appreciation, folks.
Matt, you're muted if you're
Covered it. Keep going.
I don't really have much to add to this one either.
I mean, you can still say something if you want. That doesn't mean that this just we're gonna go through like read over it.
I like being challenged to have to like do work and figure things out on my own, but also knowing that it if it takes too long, I can get help.
Yeah, nothing really to add either. Keep up the good communication.
I really love the code reviews, especially people commenting on our issue. I think it's really awesome and really it helps us improve. So thank you.
I just think that the comments on code reviews have been helpful, and learning from comments on the other pairs reviews has also been really, really helpful.
All right, yes. So what I think went well is starting early in the issues. I love that you create a draft pull request and write the comments and start working on it early. I also love how flexible and supportive you are to each other. It's a great skill to bring to the team. And I also love that you ask questions, and I also love the comments on the code reviews, and I like how thoughtful and reflective they are for both pairs and the mentors. Thank you.
Yeah, every time I talk to any of you, it's been super helpful, and I know I'm missing something, but it's also nice to know that you guys are going to shed light on things that I'm not aware of, and so I'm humbled and I'm feel much better afterwards every time. So thank you.
Yeah, starting early on our code has been really helpful, and not necessarily on Monday, maybe Tuesday, I'm sure will be helpful too, but yeah.
All right, wonderful. So now let's move on to some of the things that could be improved.
This is me. Yeah, I look into things and I look on a shallow level, but I'm realizing I need a better understanding because there's more new parts than I realized to this, right? It seems like, oh, I know how to do a form, but wait, with Firebase, it's different, right? So spending more time researching ahead of time would be helpful.
All right.
I'm working on figuring out, I don't know if there are best practices for this or if it ends up being more of individual preference of how to prepare for pair programming conversations or kind of what to do on my own versus with a partner.
Oh, yeah, I think this week and last week I didn't realize how much more was happening behind the scenes, and I'm like, oh, I need to figure out what we're doing after we meet. So I definitely want to work on that to even things out. You guys have both been doing heavier lifting than me, so thank you, and I don't want that to keep happening.
Yeah, I think this is something that I am realizing that, we're getting a lot of great questions, which is good. And I think, my tendency at least is just to like give like what I would do, right? Like how I would solve this problem, as opposed to, the devs like taking time to like research things that maybe worked or didn't work for them, why they think that's happening. So it's good to hear that the feedback that y'all are giving so far is that, you do think there is a good balance, but I think that's just something that, I want to be more mindful of moving forward.
For this one, I definitely just want to improve more on speaking about my process. I think that'll help in pair programming as well. I'm better at writing, but I know speaking will help a lot, especially for debugging and presentations.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was next. Oh, this isn't like anything big. It's just I know that writing tests are important as coders, and not that this is a requirement on our end, but I would like to improve like how I test code.
So again, this is kind of something as things get more complicated, like this week's felt a little bit more rushed to me. And, I think it's largely because we're giving a lot of feedback in PRs, which is great. But then like, as we get ready for our Saturday morning sync, it's like, maybe we're like just getting there, like right before in terms of merging to main. So I don't know. I think that maybe we could think about maybe how we're like spacing out, like when PR reviews are happening, and like try to get that going a little bit earlier if possible. So.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, this is a very specific, not a specific thing, but like I didn't realize that we had already been given the guide to the Firebase docs and the Firebase component, because in our stretch goal, it was just kind of like, if you want, add this to Firebase. So we were just Google searching randoms and looking over random Stack Overflows, but only to find out 2.5 hours later that the link to the code that we needed was already in our folder. So yeah.
All right, and a few notes from me. So I think we could use the Slack channel more. There are a lot of discussions happening in pull requests, which is great, but some of the questions could be taken to the Slack channel and can be addressed a little bit earlier. That's kind of following up what DJ said. And also, I believe for asking questions, I love seeing questions, and I think I'm on the opposite side of DJ, where instead of giving the answer, I prefer to kind of lead to the solution so people can do the research first. So perhaps, if you feel comfortable and if you like that approach, you maybe reconsider asking your questions in terms of like, hey, I'm working on ABC and I tried that and that was the result, is there anything else I should try? So maybe do a little bit more of a legwork before just asking a question, if that makes sense. All right, wonderful. Thank you so very much for your feedback. So some of the add items. So from what I hear, one of the items would be preparing for the pair programming, or paying more attention to pair programming. How would you phrase it?
maybe better coordination and communication around pair programming.
Mhm. Okay, another one would be starting early on the tasks or spacing out the tasks. How would you phrase it?
One nuance I want to add is Alex and I started on Monday, and I think we merged to main at like 5 minutes before we met today. And so I don't know that, and I think we still felt rushed. And so it's not quite starting early, but I don't know what we needed instead, kind of. Alex, does that make sense to you too?
Yeah, I think maybe well, I guess I'm seeing now why maybe merging right before the demo isn't ideal. So maybe to note for ourselves to do that earlier, but at the same time, that's like depending on what our availability is. But I guess I see what you got coming from, Sarah. I don't know how to word it though.
Okay, I'll write it like this, and if you want to add something, we can add something later on, right? Okay, wonderful. What are some other common themes? But good for the rest. If someone thinks of something, please feel free to add it, just for the sake of the time. I'm very sorry that we are cutting it super short. So does anyone has a little bit more than 5 minutes to stay for the issues?
I have time.
Okay, perfect. Okay, wonderful. So please, Matt, take it away. Let me make you a presenter.
Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. So looking at issue number 5 here, the stated issue is, as a user, I want to join an existing shopping list so that I can share a shopping list with another person. And so in summary, we want to allow users to join shopping lists from other people that they get the list sort of tokens from. So the user would enter an existing token into a form, the token is saved to local storage, and the user is taken to the list view and shown that list. So in the acceptance criteria, you can see that the home view is the one that shows the form. So I think whoever's working on this, you're mostly going to be working on the home view. So you show a form that allows them to enter a token, so that's that 3-word combination, in addition to a button that allows them to create a new list. So you've got both a form to join an existing and also the button to add a new one. The input that accepts the token as semantic label, you can submit the form with a mouse click or the enter key. If the list exists, the token's saved and the user is redirected to the list view. If it doesn't exist, the user is shown an error message saying like, yeah, we tried those 3 words, didn't work. And then if a user already has a token, then they're still automatically redirected to the list view. So there's some notes in here. I'm not going to read them in too much detail because I think a lot of them are kind of the same as the week before. It says an optional, call it a stretch goal at the end. If you would like, you can save the token to Firestore immediately when creating a new list, and then a user would be able to share an empty list. So I think since we might already have that implemented, then it's probably not something to worry too much about, but that's issue number 5. So if I'm able to switch over to issue number 6, okay. As a user, I want to filter my shopping list to make it easier to locate an item in the list. And so you're allowing the user to actually like maybe use a type ahead box or something like that, so that it cuts down the clutter of what's in that list. So this one, you're going to be working inside the list view instead of the home view. You're going to put a form in there, and it's going to include a text field. And as they type into that field, it would narrow down the list to match what they're searching for. When there is text in the field, you need some kind of button that allows you to clear the field. And when the field is cleared, the list is reset to unfiltered. So, you know, when you have nothing in the text input, then you shouldn't be filtering at all. You'll know that the label is correctly implemented if you get keyboard focus with it. The filter text should match any part of the item name, so you're not necessarily looking for the start of the name. And then it does have a link to the wireframe, but in that wireframe, it's not showing the filter field actually being used. And that's it for this one. So if there's no questions, we should probably go ahead and figure out assignments. I guess I would say it's going to be a different pairing, because otherwise I would have said, well, we can swap who's on home and who's on list, but
Right.
it's a different pairing. So any like kind of hands to raise to say I want this one or whatever?
I'm leaning towards the first one, but Sarah, I'm open to either one.
I was leaning toward the second one, but
I'm good. I'm good either way. It's fine. How about the other team? You guys?
I was leaning over the first one. I don't know about you, Alex.
Oh, you're muted, Alex.
We can do the first one. I think it's just I knew it'd be selfish, not selfish, but like I would like to work with the forum because I haven't yet. But at the same time, it's like we can do home because that makes sense too.
Wait, so do we decide something, or do we all say everything's okay?
So me and Michelle are on the first one, and then
okay, Sarah.
oh wait, sorry, I don't want to decide for people.
No,
sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
you go with that, Sarah. You wanted the second, right?
If that's okay with you, Randall.
Yeah, totally fine. It's all new to me, so I'm happy to work on Alex.
All right, so
I think the problem with this group is everyone's too nice.
It is a problem. So issue number 5 is who again?
Alex and Michelle.
If that's the home, yeah.
That's the first one, right? Yeah, because I think we have 6, right?
Okay. Oh wait. I don't know why it's not showing me Michelle's handle. I'm sorry, I'm trying to, there it goes. Okay. Yeah, I can kind of take it from here. I'll go ahead and assign the issues and start the Slack stuff. But anyway, sounds good. I mean, I know that like from a standpoint of what you'll be dealing with, the home view, you're gonna have to deal with like, you know, possibly creating something, but mostly it's gonna just be kind of error handling, and you might have to play with that navigation story, like how that redirect works and all that.
Yeah.
And then the other one, you might get to learn what debouncing is if you haven't done it before.
Okay.
I think the good thing with the filtering is that you won't necessarily have to debounce because you're not searching over the network, you're searching through the list, but you might have to learn about regular expressions, maybe. We'll see.
You said debouncing and regular expressions?
Yeah,
these are both
I'm overcomplicating it actually. Forget it. Forget about debouncing, forget about regular expressions. You probably don't need it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, now I want to know about them anyway.
That's fine. Yep.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so very much for staying a few minutes over. Matt, big shout out to you for running through the issues in such an efficient way. And thank you, teams. I'm very happy to see the progress, and thank you for being so patient and supportive. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
You too, folks. Thank